Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your reading. This is Bright Soul Collective Tarot. My name is Laura, and these will be your intuitive insights and advice for the month of August 2022. So this reading will be for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And by all means, if you know your three major placements, you can listen to any and all of the videos that apply, as each one of them may resonate differently for you. And always keep in mind these readings are general in nature. They're meant to apply to a more broad collective of individuals. So not necessarily every detail that comes through will make sense for you. But that's why I recommend you take anything and everything that does resonate, however that might make sense or connect to your personal situation. Keep an open mind to anything that might be helpful, and you can simply leave the rest. So Virgo, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a great summer. We are currently in Leo season, but August means that we are just on the edge of Virgo season starting. So I will wish you all a very happy early birthday. I'm super excited to be here today, and thank you for coming and sharing this time and space with me. I'm really excited to take a look at the month of August. I'm doing something a little bit different this month. I've decided, in the spirit of Leo season, I'm just gonna throw the established structure to the wind and we're just gonna go with it. And I also decided that instead of doing my more traditional approach of kind of like current energy and what challenge might come up and how to overcome that, we are going to do something completely different, and we are going to be focusing on your strengths, kind of give you a pep talk from the universe, some tidbits of information that you need to know, some advice, and so yeah, it's my hope that it'll be really empowering. The structure is going to be completely different, and it's going to be more of an open kind of read, so I'm really excited. The few that I've already recorded have been fun. So the other thing that I'm going to do, I still have a few channeled messages for you, which normally I start the reading with. Instead of beginning the reading with the channeled messages, I'm actually going to jump right into your cards. And then once we finish reading your tarot cards, before I get you your affirmations and your final oracle card to kind of tie everything together, I'll share with you those channeled messages specifically. Just to kind of shake things up a bit. But with that being said, while I was preparing for your reading and connecting to your energy, I'll just give you an idea of kind of like the vibe that I was picking up in case this might apply to you. It was a really interesting energy. It was kind of like a little bit detached, a little bit subdued, not in a bad way, just kind of calm. But there was almost a kind of skeptical or discerning energy. So it's like, I don't know, like maybe you're just, it felt kind of observational in nature. Like maybe you're sitting back, watching everyone and everything, seeing what you can kind of learn or discern from certain situations. Maybe like it's kind of about getting clarity on what's right for you. But yeah, it was kind of like that sitting back, assessing, maybe being a little bit skeptical of the people and the things around you until you've got a firm kind of grasp on what you think is going on. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting vibe. I haven't quite picked up on one like that before, so that may or may not apply to you. So yeah, we'll get right into your oracle card. So this oracle card is actually representing your strength for this month. So the strength that you're being gifted with, the energy that you have to work with that is being highlighted for you, your kind of blessing for this month. And you guys have Treasure Island, which is really an awesome card to have, especially coming into your birthday season, your solar return season. The idea is like our solar return period starts, I think, 6 weeks prior to our actual birthday, and that's kind of like our own personal new year where we're kind of going through stuff. There may be repetitive patterns that are coming up or things that are being resurfaced to kind of be like healed or released or let go of. So there can be a lot of stuff going on, but it's kind of like, there are endings, there's some letting go, looking back on the year, getting perspective. And so it's kind of nice that in this time that this is highlighted for you, because Treasure Island is really quite an abundant and prosperous card or like energy to have highlighted for you. I think like the treasure part of it is pretty self-explanatory. The kind of vibe that I got when I pulled this is like almost it's almost similar to like, everything you touch turns to gold. But that's not to say that like, oh, this is just easy and you've been gifted with it and things are just going to work out for you. That very well may be the case, but this is more of like a long-term energy. Like this is more like seeing your manifestations come through, or seeing that seed of intention and ambition that was planted long ago that you've been working hard to tend and maintain fully coming into fruition and being able to experience a great deal of prosperity as a result. So this could be like physical or material manifestations. It could be money. It could be like having a booming business, really a really prosperous creative outlet. Could be coming into money, new house, like anything, right? So it's just a very, very abundant energy. And it's kind of like you're finally, and maybe not finally, but you're in a position where you can see your ability to manifest abundance and you are receiving that abundance, and so your hard work, your creativity is highlighted. Anything that's connected to prosperity already, it's kind of got a little bit of an extra like jump start this month. So you could be seeing like a huge opportunity coming in terms of like money or material goods. And if you have a business, or if you're, maybe you come into a new position, you get a promotion or a bonus or something like that. That's the kind of energy. But it's also recognizing that, this is something that you've been working on, and finally you're coming into your season where, things are happening, things are paying off, things are lining up, and just like everything is good. So it's not just materially, but this can be like in, love and relationships and that kind of stuff. So, and it might not only be like finally seeing the fruits of your labor and being able to kind of revel in that abundance, but also having an eye for opportunities that are going to allow you to connect with more abundance. So it could very well be that you're coming into a lot of abundance and experiencing that in a very obvious way this month, but it could also be more of a long-term energy that won't necessarily materialize this month, but that's going to set you up for success because you've kind of got an eye as well. So it's not just receiving and experiencing that abundance, but it's also having a discerning eye and kind of knowing what is going to align with you and what is going to kind of be a potentially beneficial or prosperous either experience or opportunity for you to go after. And so I really like that for you guys. The other thing is it's making sure so abundance and prosperity in all of its forms is basically highlighted for you this month. This is very much a month for you to be feeling blessed and abundant and stable. And so if there's nothing really obvious, like no obvious windfall or obvious kind of like coming into wealth or abundance, and even as the month progresses, if you feel like this isn't aligning for you, this could just be, it's highlighted like the great deal of abundance and prosperity that you already have in your life. It could be in your family, your friendships, your intimate partnerships. It could be in your work. It could be in, just the progress that you've made in the last year on a personal level, or, in your work or your finances. It could be anything, but it's basically like the more that you focus on the abundance that you've been blessed with and that you've worked for, and the more that you can recognize and appreciate that, the more that is going to be amplified in your life. So it's kind of like if you are viewing your life from an abundance mindset as opposed to a lack mindset where you are inspired by fear or lack, or a worry of like not having enough or losing what you do have, if you're able to counter that and instead approach life with an abundance mindset and belief in yourself and your ability to manifest and receive and enjoy abundance in all its forms, then that is just going to be like supercharged. So even if there's nothing obvious that's coming in, your attitude, your effort, your thoughts, focusing on abundance is really, really going to help move that forward for you. And the other important thing to mention is that So obviously having like recognition and gratitude for our abundance, the abundance that we have just already, and anything that kind of comes to us, even if it is a result of our hard work. It's recognizing that that abundance, that prosperity, this like auspicious energy really is best and is even more amplified when we are able to share that and extend that with others. So it's also recognizing like you might have a huge amount of resources. You might have a huge, and your resource might just be like time and love and energy or skills, something that you can lend people. It might be, financial or material goods, like supplies that you can lend to somebody, that kind of stuff. So it's like if you find that you are in a very prosperous or abundant state, even if it's something that you may have felt like you worked towards on your own or without the support of other people, it's recognizing that one of the best things that you can do with that gift of abundance is obviously you're meant to enjoy it and to prosper from it, but you're also meant to kind of be able to share that with other individuals and help to kind of improve their circumstances, or lend whatever support you can to them, and not to do that like across the board without discernment, obviously, like to be intentional about the people that you are sharing with, and ensure that they're people that you can, align with, that you can support, and not people that are just going to be, looking for a handout or taking advantage of you. But it's recognizing that, not only focusing on abundance and having gratitude and having that kind of prosperous mindset will help you connect with more of it, but being willing to share it, not coveting it, not holding on too tightly or saving it all for yourself, but being willing to share that treasure, whatever form that takes for you, whatever way that you experience that, is really, really, it's only going to set you up to receive more, right? Because the more that we're able to share those kinds of gifts with other people, and the more that we demonstrate that not only can we receive and experience abundance, but we can share that with others, that is further proof of having an abundance mindset, because there's no harm in sharing. There's no fear of sharing and supporting other people when you're able to do that, because you trust that there's always more abundance and prosperity available to you. And so like, I'm not saying that you're gonna, run yourself ragged or like give all of your resources away. This is obviously like within reason. But yeah, it's basically saying like when we feel reluctant to share with people, even, people that are maybe the closest to us or the most in need, then that kind of can be an indication that we fear losing our resources, or we fear that we don't have enough, or that we're not going to be able to connect with abundance, or we're not going to be able to manifest that that prosperity, whatever form that may take. And so that can sometimes block further blessings. So the more that we're able to appreciate and recognize it, and the more that we're able to share it, you're just kind of keeping that feedback loop going, which I think is really, really cool. So this is like a really awesome energy for you guys for this month. Like, I don't know. I just think like, so, and it's not only, so it's recognizing that like you have the ability to manifest abundance, and the work that you have put in has brought you to a space where things are really kind of like lining up for you, and your ships are coming in, so to speak. But it's also recognizing that you have, sorry, my husband just came in and the baby's crying. But it's also recognizing that on an intuitive level, you also have the ability to kind of determine when X marks the spot, right? So it's not just about following any and every, opportunity for abundance. It's trusting yourself to determine like, hey, what's right for me? What aligns with me and my values and my goals? And being able to kind of like seize those opportunities that are going to be most promising for you specifically, right? Sorry, everyone. I just had to pause that for a moment. I guess my daughter had a little spill and she cut her lip outside. So that's what all the screaming was about. But I figured I better go check it out. So yeah, anyways, I really love this energy for you guys. And I think that it's important that you trust yourself and your intuition and your ability to kind of discern what the right investments and what the right step forward for you is in terms of potentially prosperous opportunities, because you've kind of got a nose for it this month as well. So yeah, we'll get you your cards now. Your first one has already come out. It's the Page of Cups, and I'm kind of doing things a little bit differently. I'm just going to get you a few cards and some clarifiers, and we're just kind of do an open read of the overall energy and see what that might look like for you. Okay, so your second card is the Queen of Cups. Oh, so 2 cups. So this can very well have to do with like love, happiness, like relationships, family. It could also have to do with like spirituality, intuition, emotions, that kind of stuff. And your last card is the 9 of Pentacles. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Oh, okay. This is kind of neat. So I'm just going to get clarifiers right away. Yeah, and then we'll do a read. And I apologize in advance if this read is a little bit unhinged or chaotic, because I'm just kind of like giving myself the gift of an open read. So we're going to just see how it goes. So we'll clarify the Page of Cups first. This is taking a long time. Page of Cups. So while I'm waiting for some clarifiers to pop out, I will say that with the Page of Cups here, it could be that your prosperity, like either what you've seen coming in or the opportunities that you're connected with, it could have a lot to do with like your creative side, your imagination, like the kind of daydreamy quality, like the vision that you might be able to connect with in terms of something more creative in nature, I guess. Okay, so let's clarify this Page of Cups. Page of Cups is clarified by the 4 of Swords. And we'll clarify the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is clarified by the 2 of Wands. Ooh. And then we'll clarify the 9 of Pentacles. Oops. 9 of Pentacles is clarified by the 3 of Wands. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the 2 of Cups. Interesting. So yeah, there is a lot of Cups energy here, which has a lot to do with love and happiness and fulfillment. It has a lot to do with our emotions, our emotional body and experiences, and the way that we kind of connect with our life, connect with the world and our experiences through our emotions or intuition or subconscious. So there's a lot of that energy here. So you might be finding yourself like very much in that energy, maybe very like emotionally aware. You could have a high level of emotional intelligence, your feelings and your intuition, perhaps like psychic abilities, ability to kind of read and connect with other people might be highlighted for you this month. But yeah, there's a lot of water here. So you also might be connected to, if you're into astrology, connected to a water sign in some way. I'm not sure, but anyway, so at the bottom of the deck, the 8 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups, this energy is kind of like, it's like doing the practical hard work that you need to do to kind of like master yourself, you know, get your stuff in order, like get your stability, master your craft. And this could just be like in an independent sense, like getting your life together and doing what you need to do to kind of achieve some kind of level of self-mastery or mastery of your work, or, you know, finances and, you know, material stability it could be. But with the 2 of Cups here, it indicates that it's connected in some way to like a deep kind of soulmate relationship. So it could be an intimate partnership, like a significant other. It could be like soulmates in terms of like friends or family members. But that's kind of the underlying energy here. So it could be that you've been working on a connection or working on yourself so that you can show up in this 2 of Cups energy with a full cup, so that you can meet, you know, that other person that's going to be on the same wavelength and have that really beneficial kind of relationship. And it, you know, love and romance is highlighted specifically, but that could also be like, you know, friendship. It could also be in a work capacity, like finding somebody that you really connect and jive with on a creative level, that you've got that level of connection and that willingness to put the work in to master your craft, to kind of like create something beautiful, really. Like that's what the Two of Cups is going to represent. So that's kind of like the underlying energy. And then when it comes to this month overall, I think that there's a huge amount of creativity and creative potential. There's a huge amount of emotional awareness and kind of just being tuned into like your emotions, the emotions of others, what you pick up in terms of feelings, I think is going to be really, really important, especially, you know, what I said about you kind of having a nose for what is going to be most prosperous, like where that treasure is going to be found when X marks the spot. So yeah, that could be people, places, things, opportunities, experiences, skills to be learned. But it's kind of like you're just the right level of daydreamy and sensitive and self-aware and tapped in, but also like practical and able to kind of execute and take solid concrete action in the physical world. So what I really love is the Nine of Pentacles is here, which is a card of independence. It's a card of abundance, being able to like put the work in. And, you know, she's in a place where she's got these pentacles, she's got this material stability or this money or whatever that is. And she's in a position where, you know, she's set that goal for herself. She's worked hard. She's mastered her craft. And now she's here, you know, enjoying what she has built for herself and recognizing that like that is something that she did. Like she put the work in and now she's reaping the benefits, and she can feel good about herself on so many levels because, you know, she has that power to take an idea, you know, an idea from out there in the ether, something that might otherwise be classified as a daydream or unrealistic, like when pigs can fly. It's like you're able to kind of project yourself into a more like imaginative, creative realm where you can connect with all sorts of different inspiration, creative ideas that might seem a little bit different or off the wall, or maybe, yeah, like not particularly feasible, and recognize that you have the ability to discern, like, out of that creative space, what do you align with? You know, what do you feel most inspired by? What do you feel called to take action on? And recognizing that you can harness your personal power, you can harness that creative kind of idea or inspiration, and you can make that happen because you've got a lot of power. You're able to kind of sit in your experiences and to be aware of what it is that you're feeling, what you're picking up, you know, internally, in terms of your inner space, and what you're picking up from the world and the people around you, and to kind of discern like what information is there kind of under the surface, and to kind of be able to sit in your feelings and your emotions until you get to the point of clarity where you understand what's best for you and what's really going on. And so I think that, yeah, love, and it could be love connections, something that you love, the things that bring you love and happiness, and the things that are connected to creativity and this daydreamy kind of energy could very well be what brings this prosperity in for you, or perhaps what has inspired you to take action in such a way that now you are experiencing that prosperity and you're having that abundance come through for you. And so the interesting thing with the Page of Cups here and the Four of Swords, it's like you might actually need to take a little bit more time and space for yourself. This might be something that you already do, but it might be something that like that hasn't occurred to you, but it's kind of like there's a whole lot of creative potential there. There's a whole lot of ideas to be discovered and daydreams to be had. And some of those daydreams will speak to you on a level that makes you inspired to actually kind of like channel that inspiration down out of the ether and take concrete action to make it to manifest it in the world of form, and that could bring you a huge amount of abundance. But the thing is like you have to take time to rest and disconnect and be in your own energy, right? To not be focused on everything that's going on externally or, the expectations of others. So I think it's very much highlighted that like your biggest, it's like, I don't want to say cash cow, but like you kind of are your own cash cow, right? You know how other people, they try to find, someone with creative genius or ideas that they're going to be able to kind of like harness and bank on, and it's like that is you, right? And the thing is, because you are kind of like daydreaming and creating your own prosperity from this kind of creative space, it's like you need to allow yourself to have time to access that creative space, because it's not something that you can do if you're busy and you're stressed. It's not something that you can do if you put a great deal of pressure and limitation on yourself, or if you're trying to meet other people's expectations. It's something that it's really truly personal, that you have to be able to be in your own energy. And it can also take like some rest. Like there might be some disconnection and rest and recuperation needed so that you can get into that energy and really make the most of it, and allow yourself to be influenced and inspired by these daydreamy ideas, recognizing that they don't have to be just daydreams, right? They can be really great opportunities for abundance and prosperity to come through. And the Queen of Cups, the fact that that's clarified by the Two of Wands is like trusting your ability to make the right decision, right? So it could be that like, I don't want to say that you haven't necessarily made good decisions in the past. I wouldn't say that at all, but you may have taken a different route to get to your decisions, or you may have relied on, different methods of discerning what path or what choice is best for you. And this month it's really highlighted like trusting yourself, like diving deep, connecting to yourself, your subconscious, your intuition, what your gut is trying to tell you, what you're picking up from other people, trusting that kind of deep inner knowing and taking the time to kind of assess. So it's like you have all the information that you need to make the best and most prosperous and most aligned and inspired decision. And it's kind of like there's a certain amount of peace and surrender. So you might find that it's a little bit easier to make decisions, particularly when it comes to things that are attached to abundance and prosperity, or potential opportunities to cultivate or manifest that. Because it may not be the obvious choice, or it may not be the choice that is obvious to everybody else, or that everybody else might choose. You might choose to walk your own path. The Two of Wands can really be about like staying in a comfort zone and familiarity and doing, what you've always done, how you've always done it, or, the way that it's been laid out for you, versus making the decision to kind of give yourself the gift of following that spark of inspiration and curiosity, and perhaps stepping off the beaten path and forging your own. And that if you do decide to do that, and if you are being called to kind of move in a more inspired and personal direction, that your emotions and your emotional and intuitive awareness is really going to hold the key for you. So I think that's really, really wonderful, because of course, like if you're going to be following a path that's going to lead you to abundance and prosperity, ultimately, why wouldn't you want it to be something that's deeply connected to what you sense, what you believe, what you know to be true for yourself, right? It shouldn't be about anyone else. So I think like you guys are coming into a period of really beautiful alignment. And partnerships are also highlighted. So it's like you may have, a romantic partnership, a friendship. If you're an entrepreneur, a business person, you might have like a business partner, or, so I wanted to say accomplice, and that sounds like you might be committing a crime, which is funny. But yeah, so somebody who kind of holds the same vision or wants to go in a similar direction, that perhaps might have a complementary set of skills that can help you kind of get to where you're going. So I think that's really lovely. It's like you are aligned, you've got a lot of personal power, you're being encouraged to really step into your own power and your own inner knowing and make some really strong, inspired, and empowered decisions for yourself, and also to trust that you're able to connect with the right types of individuals. And I kind of sense that maybe you've got a good support system at this time that can help you move forward, especially if you're thinking about, following a new path or stepping into a new energy, a new hobby, a new career, a new way of doing something that you've always done that might be, a little bit different. It can kind of take some time to come to terms, even if it's something that we're inspired by or excited about. Sometimes it can take time to allow ourselves to kind of step into a new energy. So it's very much what I see. And the Three of Wands being highlighted or clarifying the Nine of Pentacles is also really cool, because it's like, the Three of Wands is the next step. So the Two of Wands, if you've made that decision that you're following your heart and your passion and creativity, and you're kind of blazing this trail for yourself, then it's like, this is telling me like, you may already have abundance, or you may see abundance and prosperity and like a lot of promise coming through really quickly, even if you're just kind of, in the first few steps on this new path, or even if it's just kind of like a fledgling idea. It seems like there's a lot of opportunity there, and that you are in a really good, solid, grounded space to take practical action to make that happen. So it's a really beautiful marriage of inspiration and opportunity, and the world is your oyster and you can find your own way through, but also like you've got a really, really good amount of stability, you've got a grounded approach, and you're able to kind of take that practical action to handle the more practical material side of things. But and it's funny because like a lot of the readers that I that I watch personally, like they refer to this Nine of Pentacles as like the single lady energy. So it's like you don't have to be single, but it's kind of like you don't need somebody to provide for you. You don't need someone to do it for you. Yeah, of course you want an equal partnership and somebody that's going to, support you in who you are and what you're doing, but it's like you are perfectly capable of taking action and making things happen and manifesting abundance and seeing things come through on your own, right? Like nobody's doing that for you. You are your own person, and you're blazing your own trail. And I think with all of this water energy being highlighted, it's recognizing that there's a lot of emotional and intuitive energy for you to capitalize on. So really take some time to tap into yourself and see what that is, what that's telling you. Okay, Virgo, I'm going to share with you your channeled messages, and then I'm going to get you affirmations and a final oracle card. So your first channeled message for this month, which I obviously connected with before I did this reading, was my mistake. And so I got the sense of acknowledging mistakes, like current or past mistakes, being willing to take responsibility for mistakes or anything that you might perceive as being a mistake, like kind of just owning your part of things, whether you felt they turned out well or not. And there's also a sense of self-forgiveness. So I kind of got the sense that you might be doing a little bit of like healing, like some reconciliation, looking back on your life, the experiences that you've had, the connections that you've had, decisions that you've made, and kind of acknowledging anything that you might perceive as a mistake, or perhaps you did perceive as a mistake, that you've been kind of holding against yourself, and taking a look back with kindness and compassion and seeing like, even if you did perceive that as a mistake at the time, it's recognizing that, your life has kind of blossomed from that moment, and seeing how that perceived mistake actually kind of brought you to where you are now. So it's being able to acknowledge and extend forgiveness. Sorry about the crying. And the next message that came through was elemental, so like earth, air, wind, and fire. So of course that could have connections to astrology or tarot. The other thing that came up was like, I think it's Ayurveda or Ayurvedic medicine and diet, that kind of stuff, because I think it talks about like the elements in the body and the characteristics that they exhibit, and like different foods and exercises and kind of things to focus on to help balance that out. So there's definitely a sense of like those 4 components, you know, balancing out and being in harmony. And of course it could just be in a more practical way in terms of like nature, having a connection to nature, who knows. But that was kind of interesting. And then the last message that came through for you was intentions. And then the follow-up was intentions aren't everything. So I think in terms of, especially because this treasure island is not only a card of prosperity, but it's recognizing like, you know, law of attraction, ability to manifest abundance, trust in your ability to kind of take action. So if you know anything or you're connected to like spirituality and the law of attraction, then you know that intentions are very important and they're very powerful things. But the thing that kind of came up for me when this message came through is that it's like, you know what they say, like the road to hell is paved in good intentions. So it's like you might have perfectly good intentions, but the way that you take action might not be the best. It might not be beneficial. It might not be empowering. It might actually do more harm than good, right? And so it's like good intentions aren't everything. So sometimes we can come from a place where we think we have good intentions and we actually take action in not like a wrong way, but in a way that ends up being more detrimental. So intention is important, but I think it's also like the marriage of intention and like motives, like what your motivation is, what you're trying to achieve. And so that's not just for you, that's just for the people around you as well. And so you might find that that's highlighted, that like perhaps there are things where like either you, like maybe you say or do something and you have the best of intentions and it actually kind of backfires or isn't well received, or the other person can't appreciate the intention, or vice versa. And it's recognizing that like, you know, it's a little bit more deep than that. And especially if other people are involved, then we kind of have to take a deeper look, because, you know, intentions aren't, you know, if we hurt someone, ultimately, even if we had good intentions, it doesn't negate, you know, what's happened or how that person has received it, or if you're on the receiving end, how you feel. So yeah, I don't know how that might apply, but just wanted to throw that out there. So we'll get you a couple of affirmations and then we'll finish with a final oracle card as advice for this month. Okay. Let's see what your affirmations are. I forgive myself and set myself free. So I think that goes really nicely with what I was saying about that kind of like mistake energy. And it's recognizing that when you are able to take responsibility for your actions, to recognize the things that you've been maybe guilting or shaming yourself over, and to extend that forgiveness to yourself, to set yourself free, that sends a message to the people around you as well. And it's a lot easier to extend kindness and compassion and forgiveness to others and to show up in confident, authentic energy when we do that work for ourselves and we give that to ourselves first. So that may also be one of the gifts, like one of the blessings and the abundance that you've been given, is like maybe freedom and forgiveness is a theme. And your second affirmation is, I let go of all that no longer serves me. So yeah, it's a very, very empowered, centered, grounded, and aligned energy where it's like you really can pull from, you know, all of these elements. And really you do have all the elements. You've got wands, you've got cups, you've got swords, you've got pentacles. And so it's like bringing that all into harmony and yeah, following your own path, because it's like that's you know, that's your ticket to abundance. And this is going to be a really beautiful month for you to not only receive all sorts of blessings in terms of abundance and prosperity, but also to kind of like step into your power and recognize that, you know, you are driving the ship, and you have a sense for like when X marks the spot, so you don't need anyone else to tell you. Okay, so we're gonna get you a final oracle card just to serve as a last piece of advice for this month. Okay, so we've got play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. And that really does play nicely into this like abundant energy, because if you're coming into a season of abundance and prosperity where you've been blessed and things are coming into like coming to fruition, then it's like, yes, let yourself enjoy, let yourself let loose. Maybe you take a break from work and just enjoy enjoy the fruits of your labor, celebrate yourself and your growth, right? The fact that you got here for yourself. So I'm going to read it directly from the book. Stop taking life so seriously. Your spirit needs to have some fun. The more you play, the more inspiration will follow. Take some time out to do something without being attached to the outcome. You are being called to rest and play and learn to have more fun. Do something that makes you laugh, the best medicine around. Call up a friend that you can be silly with. Take your inner child on a date. The more you switch off your mind and the more room your spirit has to whisper and guide. That's very much this, like, you know, just kind of disconnecting. A Four of Swords is not really like a playful card, but it very much is disconnecting so that you can kind of receive that inner guidance. When we do things without being attached to the outcome, ideas, clarity, guidance, and solutions have the space to drop in. The left and right hemispheres of the brain can begin to talk to each other. Make play a compulsory part of your day. Schedule it. Spend more time doing things just because you love to do them, just because they bring you joy and light you up. If you follow what lights you up, you will light up the world without even trying. For when you are lit up, you are in your spirit, and when you are in your spirit, you fall into flow with life. How do you play? What do you do to have fun? What lights you up? If you've been working hard lately, it's time to celebrate how far you've come, all that you've achieved. Don't rush on to the next thing. Take a moment to throw a party, go on a vacation, or have some fun. And then the action on this card says, have more fun, play more, and celebrate your achievements. Which I think is really good, because it's basically saying like, yeah, you've achieved a lot, you've put in a lot of hard work, and there might even be like some material evidence to support just how successful you've been in working hard and following your path. So I think that's really lovely. And this daydreamy Page of Cups energy is kind of playful. It's allowing yourself to kind of daydream and consider all of the opportunities without putting any kind of expectation or outcome on it, just for the sake of doing it. So definitely I'm loving how that's all kind of flowing together. And I think that especially because this card is about, you know, Treasure Island is about manifestation and the law of attraction, the more that we drop our desire or our need to achieve a specific outcome, the more easily we're able to align. Because sometimes desire and working hard and trying to make things happen actually kind of constricts us and restricts the way that things are able to kind of flow and happen, which can ultimately block our blessings. So if you're coming into this prosperous period, the best way is to just, you know, enjoy it, play, have fun, and connect with the things that feel good, because that is going to be, you know, kind of amplifying this abundant kind of prosperous energy. That's where your treasure will be found. So Virgo, I'm going to leave your reading here for this month. I love that energy for you. I hope that you have a beautiful month. It's been an absolute pleasure reading for you. If you did enjoy this reading, the best way to support me is to like this video on YouTube. Of course, leave a comment. If there's anyone that you know of that might benefit from these readings or might be interested, you can send them my channel details or link them to my readings. And if you haven't already, make sure you check my channel out at Bright Soul Collective Tarot and ensure you're not only subscribed but signed up for notifications as well. That will keep you up to date. And I may or may not do a mid-month check-in for everyone, so we'll see how that goes. But whether I connect with you later this month or not until next month when we're officially in Virgo season, I am wishing you again an early happy birthday. And yeah, I'm very excited to connect with you again. And in the meantime, wishing you all the very best.